I would welcome my guest, Dr. Karim Lukman, a cardiologist from General Hospital Ikorodu, to the studio. Good morning, sir, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, good morning.
It's good to have you in the studio.
Hi, it's a great pleasure.
And let me officially say compliments of the season. I'm seeing you again this year.
Yeah.
And I must say you're looking brilliant and good.
Yeah, thank you. You're also looking similarly good.
Thank you so very much. So, Dr. Karim, this year has started already. This is the second day in the year 2025. And we have deemed it fit from our studio here that before we begin any health conversations at all, let us start up with conversations on how every individual out there can live a healthy life. Like it is said, health is wealth. And talking about health is wealth, this will bring us to the first question today that, talking about a healthy lifestyle. For you, how best can you help everyone? How best can you also help me to understand when we say a healthy lifestyle? It's a very common word. Many a times when your patients come to the hospital, you tell them it's important to live a healthy lifestyle. But not everybody can pin that statement to a particular side. So when you say a healthy lifestyle, live healthy, what does that mean?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes.
Good day, our listeners. Um, that is, before I go there, there is one
Yes.
very important point you made. You said health is wealth.
True.
So to make wealth, we have to invest in
Mm.
our health.
Mm.
So if we are looking at it from that point, that means there is no amount of effort,
Mm.
money put into health. You are going to make wealth. When you are healthy, you can make more money.
True.
So when you live healthy lifestyle, it's like investing invest is a form of investment
Mm.
that will come with a lot of peace, happiness, and even economical value. So that is just to say that. So the question is healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Yes.
And that healthy lifestyle is a lifestyle pattern
Mm.
that ensures that there is the likelihood of premature death is reduced, and the likelihood of incessant diseases is also reduced to the barest minimum.
Mm.
Two important points, or three. It is a pattern of lifestyle that ensures that there is no that prevents premature deaths and diseases.
Mm.
So it's a lifestyle. It is something that is in the capability of everybody listening to us. It is not something you have to go to from Lagos to Sokoto to get. It is something. It is a decision you have to make.
Conscious decision.
Conscious decision, deliberate one. And I have to also say that at this point that this is New Year.
True.
Well, I'm sure you have made a lot of resolution to buy houses, to buy cars, and so we should also make a resolution to live long.
Mm.
When you live long, not just living long in diseases or with diseases or fear, we should live long and ensure that okay, with this longevity, I'm also healthy. So that should come with our New Year resolution. I don't want to frequent hospitals for diseases. You will come. Hey, you want to do something meaningful. You can come for health checks. But then healthy lifestyle is what we want everybody to live this year.
Thank you very much, Dr. Karim. If you're listening, you can tell that this conversation today will be, an educative one, and I expect that if there are questions at all, do well to call us directly on our studio lines, and our doctor guest, Dr. Karim Lukman, will do justice to these questions. In your words, you talked about living long when you talk about healthy lifestyle. Today, also on the issues, there are some myths, some fallacies that I would also like for us to consider. There are some set of people that will tell you naturally from our family we live long. My forefather lived 120, my father lived 80. It is very certain I will live either 80 or 90. I don't need to go to the hospital. I don't need to have this over conscious mindset of a healthy lifestyle. For you as a medical practitioner, what do you tell people that just believe that I will just live my life the way I should live my life? My fathers lived well, they lived long. There are no premature deaths in my family, so I don't need to be extra conscious of a healthy lifestyle. What do you have to say to people like that?
Okay, thank you. If you want to inherit longevity, long life,
Yes.
we should also inherit the healthy lifestyle of our forefathers.
True.
Aha. There is an adage I want to say. I've forgotten now. You cannot you cannot inherit one and leave the other. And just like we have always said on this same studio, you cannot be living the lifestyle, a dangerous lifestyle, There is one. There is something that that just comes to mind now.
Yes.
It is better said in Yoruba. You cannot entrust your life to God and be having dangerous lifestyle. Lọ́n bá pé èèyàn ní èèyàn kì í jẹ́ fọlọ́runṣọ́ kó máa fogun ọ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ gan pẹ́. You know that kind of thing. So if you are going to inherit longevity, you want to inherit a very long lifestyle. Don't look at our forefathers, how they live their lives. They live basically around the farms. Even as wealthy as they may be, they have gardens in their houses.
True.
They work out regularly. They eat healthily. They contribute meaningfully to the society. And you will see, in fact, the dangerous lifestyle that we talk about here, they are actually stigmatized. You cannot come around most of them and be smoking. This one is a smoker. So they didn't do all those ones.
True.
So if they lived to 80, 90, 100, 120 years, my grandmother is alive. She's about 120 years, or 121 years this year. So these people, you cannot, there is no way there is nothing that may be wrong with her. You will tell her, grandma, take this carbonated drink. You know, it's pap that I will take. But this is, so if I want to inherit that from her, I have to inherit a pattern of life. You know, there is what we call westernization of our lifestyle. And when we say what we call civilization is taking the terrible lifestyle of the Western world. We traditionally, as Africans, as Nigerians, we have about the best of lifestyle. We eat greens in those days. So if we want to look at our forefathers, the way they lived, we should look at, if you envy them in the fact that they lived so long, 190, 120 years, we should also look at how were they able to achieve those ones.
Their lifestyle,
yes,
their
what we call
habits.
condiments were not available then. In fact, there are some of them that are still alive. They will tell you, what do you call that one? I don't want to mention specific names
brands,
of those brands.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But generally, this seasonings condiment, they will tell you. In fact, I know some grandmas that I see for some conditions, and they will tell you, what do you call that in doctor? I don't take it. In fact, if they taste it in meals, they will reject it. And so if you will not be wondering, you will not even wonder much. And you will see a 90-year-old man, he tells you that, in fact, they have cars. I don't use my car. I trek to this place, I trek to that place. I go to church, going to mosque, they trek, they do all those things. But is that the same lifestyle that we live now? I said it once in this station before. In those days, in their own time, it is either most of this westernized lifestyle were not available at all, or they were only limited to the extremely rich, who were also very conscious of what they did then. Where will you find those major eateries that we have today in those days? You understand?
You hardly find them.
You hardly find them. And when they were available, they were very expensive, or people were not even interested in them. They had to do a lot of adverts to get them around. But now it has become part of our lifestyle. Like I said one time on this station, from garage to Ebute, almost every other building is one form of eatery or the other. And whatever they do there, they are not checked. And you see a 2-year-old telling their grandma, I want this also drink. The next thing is that they will take the first one. Okay, mommy, I want more. Take another one. So, in summary, to inherit the longevity of our forefathers, to inherit their very long lifespan, we also have to inherit their lifestyle, taking greens and exercising regularly.
Now, talking about principles, this will bring me now to my next question: that are there principles, are there guidelines to living a healthy lifestyle? And if yes, what are the principles that guides one to living a healthy lifestyle?
Thank you. Basically, I will still go back to that definition.
Yes.
So that when we are going to say this principle, it is a conscious effort. We have said that it is a kind of lifestyle pattern that ensures very long life and prevents diseases. So, doing this, basically the principle is you eat healthily, you are stay very active, avoid things that should be avoided. Alcohol in whatever form it comes, and smoking in whatever name. I always emphasize this too, because now you ask somebody, do you take alcohol? He says no. And you mention one very very sweet and familiar trade name that's out there, and say I only take so.
At least that one is not hard.
It's not hard. And somebody will now be telling me that it was actually a real life conversation. And this young chap said, I asked, traditionally, growing up, what we know is, do you smoke? And I asked him, do you smoke? He said, I don't smoke. I was almost going to ask the next question before one. It should be Holy Spirit that now reminded me to ask that. Then what did you take? Hey, you know, say I take shisha. Shisha.
Yeah, some will tell you I don't smoke, but I take shisha.
You
Yes,
understand?
true.
These are lifestyle patterns that you will now wonder. Somebody said, why is it that even younger people now have stroke? Traditionally, it is something that occurs later life. In fact, sometimes it used to be maybe very later life, 60, 70, and when you say, Mama needs stroke, Baba needs stroke, we can find, maybe they are on their way out. But now we now see it in 35, 40, 45, and that kind of thing. And I always say that if you look at most hospitals in the Korea and elsewhere, the number of people that are admitted for stroke in any emergency room, in fact, enter the emergency room as I speak now, more than half of the spaces are occupied by stroke patients.
More than half.
Yes, at almost every point in time. And why do we have that? You see, even younger people, so they take a lot of these things that are not supposed to be taken.
Harmful to the health.
Harmful to the health. So, and in summary, the principle will be: eat healthily, stay very active, exercise regularly, then avoid social drugs, recreational drugs, including alcohol. Alcohol seems to be socially acceptable around us, and I have to say that there is another myth or misconception. People will come and tell you, I take red wine, I take white wine, and cardiologists have said, I'm a consultant cardiologist, and we are, yes, maybe in those days, we also trained that way to say that a level of alcohol is safe for the heart. Now, we now know that no level of alcohol, I say no level, is safe for health. Let's look at this scenario. A friend is taking alcohol. I put a finger, just my forefinger, in the drink, and I put a drop of it in my mouth. The arm of alcohol begins from that first drop. This is the recent release by WHO.
Just a drop.
Just a drop
is harmful.
Is harmful. That is the statement was released last year or 2 years ago, January 4th, 2023. And that's the latest WHO statement on alcohol. The harm in alcohol begins with the first drop. And is one of the way we ask our doctors in training, even the postgraduate ones. If I ask what are the harms, the complications of alcohol, is I will say you start from up down, from the brain, from the eyes, from the heart, the kidneys, the liver, the gallbladder. Is there any part of the body that is not affected by this? That is just alcohol. Now imagine people that even, when I say alcohol, regardless of the concentration, because that is when it comes, they now be talking about the color of the alcohol, is white, is red.
Some will tell you just 5%.
5%. In fact, 5% is the regular beer.
Yes.
So the terrible ones will now be those spirits. And people, I have seen even very young people, where it was our twin, the brother, the one brought the other one, that took a whole over 50 cl of I don't want to mention brain spirits. Of course, he collapsed immediately. It was the twin brother. Every other person fled the place. It was the twin brother that brought him. So when they mention these things, they will not call them alcohol anymore. They give all those things that will be very attractive to the younger generation.
Yes.
You know, all those sweet names that, in fact, there are brands that they have the non-alcohol brand and the alcoholic brand to deceive the younger generation, such that they may intend to take the non-alcoholic brand. You understand? They will give them an alcoholic one, and they feel somehow, and that is how they start their own addiction. So alcohol and whatever is smoked. I say, because I want to use every possible terminology, but whatever is smoked, taken, rubbed, sniffed, that when taken changes your own self. You some people use it to shine their eyes. All those things are dangerous to us. Let us avoid them. So in summary again, living a healthy lifestyle ensures eating healthy, staying very active, exercising regularly. We'll talk more about all this.
Yes.
And also avoiding the damages of health.
You know, I was going to ask you, but I think you've jumped on that conversation already. We're medical practitioners. We hear it on a regular basis. Cardiologists, in some cases, will tell you that alcohol is bad. But then there are some you can still take. You can take the red wine and all. But you've made clarifications on that regardless of the percentage. So you've heard that from Dr. Karim. I remember our last episode last year, where a medical practitioner also sat here and told us from General Hospital that the means of Gary spoils the eyes. We had conversations on the site that it's just a fallacy. So now people have also heard that. Don't be deceived with that statement, but doctor said we can take red wine. So now you go to some big events and the front table, what you see is the red wine, and you see these men take it comfortably. because there's a doctor somewhere that has said, oh, you can take red wine. Looking at the principles, you talked about exercise. It's very germane, it's very key to good health. But this is something a lot of people have drifted out from. Not everybody does that anymore. And sometimes when you see people get themselves involved with exercise, it will be weekends. And then you see them in their large numbers. I have witnessed on several occasions, this man will finish his exercise and then end up with a bottle of beer. And I wonder why the exercise. So let's talk about exercise and the importance of exercise to a healthy lifestyle.
Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
Exercise, as you said, it is just regular movement of the body,
Mm.
and for exercise to be counted as part of health,
Mm.
it's for cardiovascular health, heart health.
Mm.
Well, when I say heart health, it also means you are going to prevent stroke,
Mm.
avoid blindness from hypertension and diabetes. You are going to avoid kidney disease, heart attacks, and other peripheral arterial diseases. So these are this form of exercise that will ensure all this. One, what we say is anaerobic aerobic exercise
Mm.
that is of moderate intensity. And what I mean by that is this: for exercise to meet this criteria, it has this following qualities. One, FIT. So we want you to be fit.
Mm.
So that FITT will tell us what are the criteria that for physical activity to now qualify as exercise. You see, I've now brought in another word, the physical activity.
Yes.
To now qualify as exercise. It is somebody says when I wake up in the morning, I move like this, I move like this. Yes, it's physical activity, it is fine. But then it has to be of regular frequency. That's the first
Regular
step.
frequency, consistency.
It is not something like, oh, I do only on my birthdays.
Mm.
Or I do only when I have
Body
this,
pains.
like, body pains. No, it has to be very, very regular.
Mm.
The I is the intensity. The how much it is going to. It is such that it is going to make your heart rates a bit higher than what it is. You hear that boom, boom. That tells you that you are getting to the appropriate level of exercise, and you'll be sweating.
Mm.
The T is the time. It must be at least 30 minutes every day.
At least 30 minutes every day.
So this fits. That is what physical activity will now have to now make it qualified as exercise. And usually it is better done when it as recreational, as leisure, rather than, we have said it. Somebody will come and say, I am a bricklayer, or I do very strenuous work. I climb 10-story building and come back. That is stress.
Mm.
There are two types of stress. Yes, stress is something that is actually part of everyday life.
Yes.
There is what we call stress. There is also distress. Distress is the one that we don't want. That one that you do. There are this, for example, an automobile engineer, the one with the mechanics who carry the engine, go up and down, all those ones. That is a form of stress. That at the end of the day, this person will say, I'm so weak, I'm tired. Because even the physical activity has not resulted in the desired outcome. That is distress. What we want is stress. As you are doing it, you might have something in your ears listening to music. You will be so relaxed, and it is a purposeful movement of the body. And you are so relaxed, and such that the hormone that will be released is what we call endorphin. Is a kind of hormone that will get you very, very relaxed. And usually after that, it is unlike the regular distress that after that one you'll be so weak to even sleep. This one will come, you see the body, after you dissipate the heat, you'll be so cool and you'll be able to sleep very, very well. So these are the 5 qualities of physical activity that will now qualify to become exercise. Regular frequency. Usually you are advised about 5 days every week.
5 days,
Yes.
from 7
In
days.
fact, let us say every day of the week. But then you now have to leave a day or two because you have to now go early to the church or to the mosque, like that. It should not be less than 5 days in a week, in regular frequency. And it is not an exercise that some of my clients will say that I used to trek. When I trek from this place, I trek to Ibadan.
I trek every day from home to work.
If that trekking is not of adequate intensity, it has to be brisk. But like you are walking very fast. If you are of small size like myself, you can decide to jog. But if you are on the very big size, don't put all the weight on the knees. So even jogging will say, don't do that yet. just walk normal walk, but they make it very fast,
Very fast.
brisk walking.
Mm.
That is when it gets to that intensity that you can qualify it as exercise. I have exercised today. Or if you just trek and on your way, oh, bro John, you are there, you can see people around you. That doesn't qualify as exercise. You understand? The intensity must be such that, yes, we say moderate, not vigorous. You understand? If you're going to do vigorous, that's the way you characterize that one too. But what we generally advise everybody that everybody can do, regardless of age, status, or anything, is that moderate intensity exercise. Then it must be not less than 30 minutes every day. That 30 minutes may be broken, but a session must not last less than 10 minutes.
A section must not last
yes,
less than
yes,
10 minutes.
Yes, so 10, 15 minutes in the morning, another 10, 15 minutes in the evening, fine. But then it should be up to that 30 minutes every day.
You've heard that again from Dr. Karim. And doing your exercise at least 5 days in a week. It could be the 7 days if you're privileged to do that, very okay. And from your 5 days, ensure that in every single day you have at least 30 minutes of a conscious practice. Not that you're trekking to work and you've had the exercise for that day. When you talk about the state of mind and the health as well, let's talk about the mental health, which is also another thing that might want to truncate or bring about a rougher health life. The mental health is something that is very important. Some people live their whole life having one issue mentally or the other. It could be family, it could be work, it could be societal, it could be, the environment. Tell us, shed more light on the role mental health plays in affecting a mental health. Because some people will tell you, I run my exercises, I eat good meal, but I still don't feel healthy. Sometimes it could be the mental health. Do you think there's a relationship with this, or mental health is just by the side that has nothing to do with a healthy lifestyle?
Oh, it is very, very key. That brings us to the actual definition of health.
Good.
By WHO.
Yes.
WHO defines health as the state of complete physical, social, and mental well-being, and not just the absence of disease and infirmity. So you can say yes. In fact, the last time I tried malaria was 10 years ago. I'm not hypertensive, I'm not diabetic, but something is there upstairs that is wrong with you. That is about mental health. And mental health issue is becoming major in our environment. And sincerely, we have to also, in a way, traditionally, the typical African is not bothered well about mental health, because previously we have actually attributed them to one witchcrafts or the other, or we're not even concerned outrightly about them. And with this, the new generations that we are having now, it is becoming a major issue. Mental health ranges from just depressive illnesses, not outright depression. One should be, it's not necessary that you'll be happy all the time, but then you'll be in that state of mind that you are not feeling terribly bad about yourself. And I have to also say, living that healthy lifestyle, eating healthily and exercising very well, also gives you that very good mental health. I spoke about stress is a mental thing.
Yes.
It is a perception of the future. You understand? The way you see the task you are assigned or your future, it talks about how it's going to constitute to the kind of stress that you're going to have. The same activity or with a different state of mind, it can be distress or eustress. So on a general note, eating healthily and disease, health encompasses everything, even social well-being. That is why, and we are very hopeful that Nigeria will be better. Nigeria will be great. So from this year, with the promises of our president, the state governor, we are very hopeful. Even the indices that we are seeing. So of course, that is also part of stressful life that we are living in the country. So as things get better, and we have that hope that things will be better, and as we have the hope, we also live the life, that healthy lifestyle. That our mental health, we should be very conscious of it. If you are not feeling too good, you don't have to take something to shine your face. As a matter of fact, if you need to take something every morning to get okay, then that may be a problem somewhere. If I don't take a bottle of this and that, energy drink,
I won't feel fine.
I won't feel fine.
Mm.
I cannot talk. I cannot cope. Then something is wrong. Talk to your mental health physician.
Mm.
So mental health is part and parcel of general well-being,
Mm.
and it should also be looked into.
Thank you so very much. I am enjoying every bit of this conversation. I want us to step it up a little bit more. Towards the tail end of this conversation, we will talk about the diet too as well, which is another important side to a healthy lifestyle. But before then, I want us to look at the angle of what we call medical checkup now, in quote. Many a times, people would only visit their doctors or come down to general hospital or any hospital, as the case may be, when they feel sick or they are down. But when we say medical checkup, it should be a time where you check yourself from top to bottom. Can you put us through how this should be done? For instance, the sites, they will tell you maybe after twice in a year, every 6 months, the teeth, you brush your teeth twice. Every part of the body has rudiments, timings, and constructions. But for the health generally, for medical checkup, how should that be? Yes, you should not be sick before you get down to the hospital. What should medical checkup be like for a conscious man or woman who wants to live a healthy lifestyle?
Thank you very much. Health checks is something that should be part and parcel of our life because of the uncertainties of everything around us. Nobody can be sure he or she is healthy in this country except you have checked.
I would like for you to say that again. Nobody can be sure.
You cannot be sure because really,
even when you feel good.
when you feel good, there are some people. Okay, one of the major diseases that we see that contribute to significant disability
Yes.
is hypertension. It is largely asymptomatic. That's why we refer to it as silent killer. Silent killer, it does not give you any symptom. In fact, for some people, the first time they have any symptom related to hypertension is when they are dead. The first symptom they will have is death. So, and this is something that has to be measured. The state government, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health, also did a kind of checks for the Lagosians. It was a nationwide exercise, but in Lagos we participated. Almost all government participated, and a lot of private hospitals too. It was tagged "Know Your Numbers," because high blood pressure is not something that you can determine. Oh, when I have a headache, I know my BP is high. No. When my eyes are blurry, or when I have my hand is shaking, that's when my BP. You can never know until you have checked. You see, this is why we talk about you have to do those regular checks. For somebody to be diabetic, it takes the diabetes would have been in the body before this first symptom is felt, which is excessive urination, weight loss. We as physicians, we feel like this has been in the body for about 7 years before it becomes clinically detectable.
It would have been in the body for
about 5 to 7 years.
5 to 7 years.
Yes. Because, and at that point, when we are diagnosing most diabetics, they would have had one end organ damage or the other. And how does that come about? There is the normal sugar, there is the pre-diabetic range, and there is not actually diabetic range. If you have not checked, if we are getting you at the point you are just pre-diabetic, that's pre-diabetic, you can do a lot to prevent the diabetes. But you are waiting until that time that you now say, okay, I'm losing weight, doctor, I'm passing urine about 3, 4, 5, 6 times per night. That time, the dreaded disease is already there. We now have to start managing. So this is why these health checks, they are very, very important. Look at cholesterol. The cholesterol will not give you any sign or symptom. In rare condition for familial hypercholesterolemia, that's when we see some physical signs, and you will not know. Because when sometimes we see ourselves, doctor, don't people talk about that. Because when you are adding weight in certain areas of the body, it is either due to stress or very unhealthy lifestyle. You understand? So you and people around you will feel like, oh, you are getting well there.
You're doing fine.
Don't forget about you know that. So you have that sense of well-being, but which is just going to allow that terrible condition. And that is why for most time we have seen cases of patients being brought into the ER, the emergency room. They are in their party, or they are engaging in social activities, even religious activity. Somebody is praying, the musician, somebody is doing that, and they don't collapse so suddenly. Somebody has been brought to our ER before inside the tricycle. Of course, if you are not healthy, you won't even go out. Very gorgeously dressed, going for a social function and collapsing. That means this person apparently feels that he or she is fine.
Fine.
But then these people will now drop dead. And stroke is not something that you even wish your enemy to have. The other dates, physical disability. You now have to talk. You are now talking. The speech is now slot.
Yes.
The part of the face is deviated to one side. So all this you have to pay. So going back to health checks, it is very, very important. We don't have to wait until that thing comes in. I would say if you are 40 years of age, internationally, the American Cardiac Society, the American Heart Association, and the American College of Cardiology, the Nigerian Cardiac Society, Nigerian Hypertension Society, all the societies, they are professional bodies. They encourage you are 40 years or older, go for these checks. I just told you that the Lagos State government launched that Know Your Numbers a campaign. It was on almost all general hospitals and PHCs across the states, and we saw a lot of things. People, I follow my friend to the hospital. I just accompany my friend. My friend is diabetic. I want to see a doctor. So the second one said, for those patient relatives, screen them also, and we saw a lot.
Wow.
In fact, sometimes the friend or the relative, the parent of the sick, the one that has that sickness, their own condition is even sometimes worse than the one they are breathing. But it's just that the one that is term sick is only manifesting its own. That people can say, oh, you are growing leaner and but then this other person is harboring even more serious illness. So when you do your health check, for most places, they have designed several packages based on the initial interaction or the affordability. Like in General Hospital Ikorodu, we have a clinic that we call Wellness Clinic. All you just do, you just walk in there, tell the consultant in charge, I want to check my body, I want to do my wellness check. Then they'll tell you the packages. Oh, this is this is that, this is that. You key into whichever one. Whichever one that you key into. At the end of all the tests, and it's also that same wellness clinic, as all the activities they are fast tracked. You don't have to join queues. You understand? So that because you are okay. So it is ensures that you can, the day you are going to work, you can actually just stroll in, get it done 30 minutes, 1 hour, and you leave.
Yes.
You understand? So wellness check, health packages, we encourage if you are 40 years or older, that is one criteria. Number two, even when you are younger and you are fat, you are very big. That is to say that, because we have said it now, even though it is socially acceptable that we are big and fat, but then we say medically we don't encourage it. Check your BMIs regularly. The BMI is body mass index, the weight divided by the height squared. If that is more than 25, then you say that there may be an issue. So if I said generally 40 years and older,
Yes.
check. You are not feeling anything. Just walk into a government accredited institution. We have it in General Hospital Ikorodu. If you are less than 40 and you are fat, you are big in size, you are plus size, then you don't have to wait till 40. Go and check. If you know you engage in social activities that are dangerous to health, smoke or take alcohol, and as we speak, the New Year resolution should be, from this year onwards, I'm not smoking again, I'm not taking alcohol again, I want to exercise better, I want to eat healthily. So these are the criteria for health checks. You understand? And on a general note, now say, what about I have a 8-year-old, 7-year-old? If for most of them they are fine. But then, whatever we do as parents, let us incorporate it into their lifestyle. Oh, daddy does not take salt. Allow the children to take the salt. No. We want to catch them young. I have said it here before.
Yes.
I have clients that a 60-year-old man, I now say a 65-year-old man, I say, stop smoking. The man look at me like, you this tiny thing. You know how long I've been doing this thing. So when you say for the past 50 years, this is what I've been doing. You're not telling me to stop now. It's habits. So let us not allow our children to develop bad habits. So from this point onwards, we grew up, we had parents that ensure that we live healthy lifestyle. But we are not doing the same now. Maybe for economic reasons or whatever reason, you look at your parents that they want to eat meat pie. Or if you are opportune to have eaten one in the day, you come back and say you want to eat another one. But now this is what we do for our own. You see, in fact, you don't even buy one for them. You buy this meat pie, you already don't know. All these big varieties. They finish everything. You say that I'm not okay. You want to take more. So and that is why the generation coming If you say stroke in those days, you'll be like, oh, this person must be 50, 60, 70
Exactly.
years. But it's not like that anymore because
Exactly.
of lifestyle.
Exactly.
So as we do our health checks, when you are 40 or a bit younger, because of one risk identifier or the other, if you are less than 40, you are hypertensive, is an indication for you to go and do health check. You are 40 and you have diabetes, any form of health issues that you have before 40, it is an indication you should go for health checks. But the one that is generally common is you are less than 40, you are big in size. That is no disease as much as we are aware.
Yes.
So if you are 40, you are plus size, go for checks. But for children, healthy lifestyle. Whatever we do as adults to keep fit and healthy, we should introduce our children to it.
We have less than 15 minutes to sign out from the studio. This will bring me to diet now, which is also very germane. That might be the end of the conversation right immediately after diet. But I want to talk about affordability from your words. I am picking that out. Some people don't even want to come for medical checkup or anything that has to do with the hospital, because the first thing that comes to their mind is, oh, with the current situation of the country, just like you have said, we are hoping that 2025 will be better in Nigeria and in Lagos. But some will tell you, with the little I have, so I should not go and give it to one doctor and say I'm doing medical checkup. How affordable is it to live a healthy lifestyle? Now, it's a two-in-one question. We'll use a stone to kill two birds. How affordable is it? And then, when we talk about diet, how best can you advise Nigerians listening to you at this time to live a diet lifestyle, a good diet lifestyle?
Okay, thank you very much. Regarding affordability, we have said it, Nigeria is getting better and certainly it will be better. The current rates, I can assure you, what I know that I'm aware of is what we do in general psychology. Like I said, other places also have their health packages.
It varies.
And what we have there is we have everything available. Consultants that will see the patient after the well, of course we will run the test. You now have opportunity of speaking to between 3 and 5 consultants, depending on the outcome of the test. Coming to affordability, I said something at the beginning of this discussion that health is wealth.
Yes.
You must grow your wealth. You have to invest in your health. That is the truth. Look at if you have to, if you will not have to go to work, your business 2-3 days in a week. Look at how much losses that will come to. So this is why you have to invest in your own health. So that is about the surest way to grow your wealth. If I, as a doctor, if I won't have to run my practice, I won't see my patient for 2, 3, 4 days. If I'm not investing in my health, I will not even be economically useful. So whatever the cost is, all I can tell you, for the place that I know, it is very, very affordable.
Very affordable.
Very affordable. At least for what we have seen. You understand? And I've told you, we have the facilities, we have the human resources. When I say, depending on the package, you may have to talk to 2 consultants, 3 consultants, 4 consultants, depending on what the problems identified are. So, and of course, if there is nothing again, then you will now have to talk to me. So now as we speak, no, you don't have any disease now. Can we then prevent in the future? You understand? So that is still part of that package. So what I usually tell my client is, I'm not even expecting you to be sick. I don't pray you are sick. Because that's what gives me happiness. I'm able to sleep because hey, Michael, I'm thinking you are my client, you are fine. That is the happiness. Not that you don't have to necessarily be sick. And that's why we are saying it is beyond the sickness. What you bring you to the hospital, come for advice, come for other things. So regarding diet,
yes,
the basic principle is one. We live on grains, vegetables, and fruits. Reduce as much as possible most of the refined food, including canned foods. Reduce as much, if not totally avoided, as much as possible. Salt is dangerous. Let us minimize. There is a recent social media post on salt. That was examined by most of our professional bodies. And we say, for Africans, salt is dangerous. So
salt is dangerous.
It should not be avoided altogether, completely. So, the doctor has said don't take salt. I won't take salt at all. No.
Don't get the message wrong.
Yes. Salt is good, but not to be taken in excess. So our women listening to me, if it will be very good to hear you, I want to ask, what tells you the amount of salt to add to that pot of stew you are cooking? Somebody said for African women, they dip their hand into that salt. they sprinkle until one the ancestor say, "It's okay, my daughter."
There's a spirit somewhere giving
Then I
them
say,
the stuff.
and you see, her mothers they did very well. You see, when they do that, the food will be so tasty, and you'll be wondering. Well, I would just look
How
at
did
my
you know
mother.
the
How do you
gauge?
know the quantity to put? And if you see these caterers, they will just put that very big pack of salt. They keep sprinkling until they will just say, "Oh, it's okay like that." How are they able to engage it? So what we are saying is that we don't want to do that anymore. We want to measure. This is our life.
Yes.
If you know the gauge your petrol should give before you refill the tank, that is measurement. If you know other things, you know the length of yard of cloth you give to your tailor to sew this,
Yes.
then we should be able to measure anything that relates to our life. So salt is good, but should be taken in limited amount. What is that limited amount for an adult? It should be 5 grams of salt or less. How do you quantify that? Teaspoon. You know, on the table there is a tablespoon. The bigger
Yes.
one that we used to take rice and the smaller one, that's a teaspoon. When it is leveled, dip into the salt. It will be heaped. Then you get off the excess. Let it be leveled. That is 5 grams of salt. That is the total amount of salt an individual requires in a day. It can be less, but we are not saying don't take salt at all. They take that minimal amount. And one very bad thing is to now put added salt. On the dining, the head of the family feel this salt is not giving salt, and we call them salt shakers. They should not be found anywhere around our dining. So the principle, it is of vegetable, a lot of fruits. When I say a lot of vegetable, yes, that is you can take vegetable as much as you can, as much as you like. Fruits, maybe 2 to 3 portions in a day, depending on your size. Again, I always discourage what we call smoothies. When you blend the fruit together, because you cannot measure again.
Some people take smoothies almost every morning. They say
Yes,
it's
and
good.
they think it's good for you again. And when you now ask them, you're adding weight, you say, "No, I eat elderly." When you take in, when you blend them, when they are blended together, you cannot quantify the exact amount you are taking. Now I have said that fruit should be taken 2-3 times in a day.
In a day.
And it is to be sizable. There is a serving per fruit. Look at watermelon now. If you want to say 1 watermelon, that is a whole lot.
Yes.
So it is size that when chopped into smaller part that fills a mug, not blended. This is the watermelon. You have just chopped into maybe like saying like you have diced it.
Yes.
A smaller portion.
Yes.
The one that fills a small mug, the regular mug that we use at home, that is the serving of watermelon. Not taking the entire one. Or the one that is now determined by the seller. They cut it into 4.
Yes.
And you feel that is the size.
The
and
size.
you can take like 3, 4, 5 times a day. That is in excess. It will make it to add weight. So not taking alcohol in its entirety is part of healthy living. Not smoking at all is part of a healthy lifestyle. Reducing the amount of red meat.
Red meat.
That of cow, goats, and ram. Red. We prefer the white one, which include that of fish. All categories of fishes are fine. And the fish should not be fried.
Okay.
Either boiled or grilled. Yeah, that is what is good. Then the milk, the one that is better or the best type of milk is the skimmed milk.
Okay.
It ensures that the beneficial component of the milk they are retained, and the bad ones, the fats, they are out of it. This is basically for our regular diet, our eba, amala, semo, all those ones. They should be taken in moderate quantity. We call that portion control. What we say generally is that make your fist very tight.
Yeah.
And from the wrist, not from the elbow, from the wrist, that is about what you need of any regular. Because somebody will say, what I emphasize is don't take refined sugar. I've not said don't take carbohydrates.
Yes. It's
So
different.
carbohydrate is part of our regular Nigerian staple. How can you do it without taking rice? Or eba or semo? So but that should come in very small. That is portion control. Very small quantity. Did I say small? Moderate quantity, not small. And that is your own feast. If you do that, put very large amount of vegetable and 1, 2, 3 portions of fruits daily. A moderate size protein. Like I've said, the white ones are better. That is about the general principle for healthy eating.
All right. I almost forgot to turn on the phone lines, but please let's take just 1 or 2 calls. Hello to you. Good morning. Hello, you're on. Good morning. Yes, good morning. Your name and where you're calling us from. Thank you. It's good to hear from you. Talk to us in just 1 minute.
I look at myself as a pensioner. I'm afraid I'm being personal. Yeah, I'm receiving 15,000 a month as my pensions. Would that be enough to keep me healthy? Upon all these you have enumerated, And I'll take that you come again because this topic is very important. Thank you.
Thank you, Babade. Thank you very much. Babade, nicely said, and we sincerely do apologize. I also know that I've not done well without thinking. I've been seeing the phone lines ever since, but then the conversation is also important, so we apologize. Please help us just do justice to that. And I won't be able to take calls anymore. Please don't call in. I sincerely apologize. Help us attend to Babade.
All right, sir, thank you very much for the observation. Whatever you earn in a month, I'm sure there will be a package for you at all time. You may have to save a little to get it done. Aha. And like I did mention that if it is just health check, it doesn't have to be done monthly, usually once in a year. So when you do the comprehensive health check at the beginning of the year, we only pick on those ones that are not okay for regular checks. We have told you if for example the sugar is not okay, it's in the pre-diabetic range, we'll tell you go and do so for 3 months. Then that come back, we'll only check that sugar. The ones that are okay can wait till next year, depending on whichever one.
Yeah.
So I'm sure very well, sir, that the way you are able to manage, if you are a pensioner, you are the elder statesman, you can always save 1 or 2, a small part of that, whatever is coming in. And also can also key into Ilera Eco. It's another reasonable thing to do. It is very affordable, and even though that health package will not be after they said it's health package, but then it can come under Ilera Eco in one way or the other.
Babade has said you will come back to the studio, but we will find out. I should tell you, Babade, and every other person listening, Dr. Karim Lukman is a very busy man. He's one of the big fishes from General Hospital, and having him in the studio this morning is indeed an honor, and we say thank you very much. But then we'll look at how we can have you back in the studio here. We have to take the news now. But then the issues will continue same time, same station tomorrow. I am Opeyemi Adibambo. Special thanks to our cardiologist, Dr. Karim Lukman, for joining us in the studio this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.